it's like a gut-wrenching pain. It's like somebody have them hand in your belly and
it's
a
a
tear out your.
physical thing.
Exactly. You will probably see somebody grieving about, for example, a parent or grandparent for 5, 10 years, and you're like, oh, them not get over that yet. It's because you have never been through it, so you cannot. And that's another thing too. Like grief doesn't have a timeline. You can't tell somebody say, at 10 years now, get over this shit. Like no, it don't work like that. What's up, guys? Welcome back to our channel, and this is the Cozy Couch Conversations with Shanz and
Debz.
So, guys, in this week's episode, we want to discuss a very
sensitive and heavy
topic. Yeah, and it's something that we have been experiencing, and we would love to share our experience with you guys. We want to deep dive into this conversation because we also do feel like this is something that is not often spoken about out loudly. And so, we would like to share our take
and our experience.
Yeah. So the first thing, we're going to share is our grief experience. So the topic is grief. We didn't even say that. The topic is grief. And we're going to, talk about healing through grief, how we cope, all the things that you dive deep into when you're talking about grief. So yeah, we're going to share our experiences. So the first one we want you to discuss. You can start, babe. Talk about, what has been your experience with grief? And guys, grief is not just about losing like a loved one. It's about almost everything in life. If you've loved anything, you can grieve it. So it could be a friendship,
could be a relationship,
your
it could
job,
be a job,
anything of that sort. Yeah. So, but for us, I think for us it's personal. It's not a job. It's none of that for us. Well, for me. Yeah.
I feel like it could also be a past self too.
Like healing versions of yourself.
Right.
Yes, that's true. So, all right. So share a little about your experience and how you've been navigating that, and on your healing journey.
Okay, that one is kind of heavy.
It is.
It's something that I haven't spoken about in a while or in detail, so let me kind of dive in and thing. So at this big age, I'm very, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say that this is a very vulnerable podcast episode. So guys, we really do hope you appreciate it.
Yes. So let me start by saying at my big age, I've had quite a bit of experience with grief and loss. I am from a matriarchal family. To kind of just set the context for you. I was raised by my grandmothers, my mother, auntie, and And I think the pandemic is when I really experienced loss in a major way. Not to say that like I haven't lost loved ones in the past, but it really hit home for me in starting like in 2020. So my grandmother got sick, and she passed away. In 2020. And then less than a year, I lost my other grandmother, like the day before my birthday. And then less than a couple months later, my mom died, which was really a shocker, People try to console you by saying like they've lived a full life and they're older or whatever. It don't make things any better.
No, it does not.
So my grandmother was in her 90s, so I could, I guess, kind of use that to console myself. But she was kind of the anchoring figure in my family. So it kind of shake your whole family dynamics and all of that. And then my other grandmother really was integral in also raising me. So that was really difficult. And then mommy, I mean, she wasn't what I consider to be very old, right?
I don't think so.
Because she was 70. Um, and I was used to my family members living to 80s, 90s, you know what I mean? And so all of that happened, when I'm going to work, when I'm expected to perform. It happened that, you know, my career was doing pretty okay,
Mm-hmm.
but there are still work pressures. You still have to show up and all of that. And it was it's just like you don't get to recover. It was just like one and then the next and then the next. It just felt like my whole life was falling apart. And then I became the one that kind of inherited the responsibility of everything. So
Mm-hmm.
you have life and having to show up, and having to sort through all of that, and having to navigate your own grief and your own loss. And with mommy, it was so shocking. Like in she wasn't suffering from any
Yeah, that one was
illness. She
really.
wasn't in the hospital or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of and Shan was there. I kind of just woke up one morning and went to, go to her and
Mm.
discovered, that she was gone. And so I haven't spoken about it
Yeah, I
like this
remember that
anymore.
morning
Mm-hmm.
very vividly. I
Yeah.
remember the two mornings though. I remember
Mm-hmm.
losing your grandmother because we were just like a month in our relationship, very young
Yeah.
when she lost her grandmother.
And I
But
got the call like
yeah,
4 a.m.
and but the thing about it is that the moment I met Debbie, we bonded over talking about our families. So
Mm-hmm.
I knew that her grandma meant so much to her. The
Mm-hmm.
morning when she got the call, I think we were like a month being together officially in our
Mm-hmm.
relationship. And I asked you, I was like, "Want me to come to the hospital with you?" And you said no. Because I don't think at that time you were so vulnerable with me yet, because it was just like
Mm-hmm.
a month in being us
And I don't really
together.
think it's that. I feel like I never wanted you to. I have this way of shielding the people that I love.
Hmm.
And so I never wanted to, and I never knew what the situation was. Like I feared the worst, but I never really knew. And I never wanted to hit you with that.
Hmm.
Yeah, especially that early in the relationship too.
Yeah.
So yeah, I went on my own.
Mm-hmm.
But initially it is a shock. I don't know if I jump in the gun like by telling this part,
What
like
part?
how I felt in
No,
those
you can talk
moments.
about like how you felt in that moment when you got the call, when you found out
Mm-hmm.
about your grandma,
And like mommy
and then
and
like
Mr. So.
yeah.
So it's different everyone. You don't ever get used to it. It is like a shock. It's almost like you're in shock, especially for mommy. It's a horrible feeling. Like even now speaking about it is difficult. I feel very shaky in my chest. I feel like I
Mm.
want to cry, but managy.
Oh, babe.
But yeah, it's an initial shock, like a physical, like you
Mm-hmm.
physically feel like you shake up and your world ending. With me, like when I go through situations, I am a doer. I have to keep moving. I have to keep doing, and
Mm-hmm.
so it was initially like that, but it's a shock that nothing prepares you for. um, Nobody can explain it. You can't feel it unless you actually go through it.
Yeah.
It's a horrible experience.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
Losing a parent is never easy.
Mm-hmm.
It messes with everything in your life, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
The version of you that you once knew, it's like
Yeah.
it's no longer there, and you just have to find ways
Mm-hmm.
to keep going, or else, trust me. And I have experienced the grief through Debbie. like losing her mom. I was there, losing her grandma, losing everybody that she spoke about. I was present for all. And honestly, it was very, very rough because I couldn't understand the way I understood, but it was also difficult to understand because who feels it knows it kind of a thing. You understand? And then even when I had to go, like Debbie was here alone in Jamaica. One, I remember I
Because you had
have
to
to
go back to
reach out. I
Cuba.
had to go back to Cuba, and I had to reach out to people to try to, get her to be. And to be honest, I don't think had Debbie had friends, and then when she was going through this grief, there were no friends. All the friends I met her with, none of them was present.
So
None.
we can kind of go into like how it affects um
Friendships
yeah,
and
and other relationships in your life. So it's like um be be aware of the people you have around you, and be aware of why they're there, and not to say you live in your life for grief or in preparation for loss, but
but
sometimes
this is the inevitable. So
do a check in and see, are these people around, will they be around at my worst, if I have nothing, when I have nothing, you know? And I remember how I feel like some people, they can take your grief personally,
yeah,
right? And I felt like it's almost like, why aren't you being who you usually are? Like, I just lost my whole world. I lost my whole world.
literally.
My whole life changed, and you would think that these people would understand. I remember even work, because you have to show up. Compassionate leave is 3 days. 3 days. And
And
me I
mind you,
tell
you
you,
only get compassionate leave for your
for your
mother or
mother,
father,
father,
not your
not your
grandmother.
granny. Even if your granny
Even if your
raised
granny
you,
grow you.
your grandpa, nothing like that. So even at work, that dynamic was like really, really difficult for me. Like, thankfully, I had a supervisor at the time who was, understanding and all of that. But it's still hard. You still have to go back at work. I remember, I had coworkers who felt that. I remember some of the time I go to work and I show up, I may fight for my life. Would I come at work, go to my office, just get to my tasks, get to what I have to do. And they would take it personal that, oh,
you're just in your office
Deborah
lock up.
never, exactly, and you're not, you know what I mean? So you have to really, it's important to work with people who are compassionate, who you know what I mean, and for companies and organizations that see you as more than
Just
the
an
job,
employee.
right?
Yeah.
More than just an employee and the job that you do, because that was really difficult. And the friend thing too, know who in your life. Know who in your life.
Because I remember, like, when I was in Cuba and I wanted somebody to like go out with Debbie, and that message that people I think would have, would be present, and I wouldn't get like a reply until days later, or Debbie would be at home alone. And I was worried one night, and we were living in a complex at the time, remember? And I googled the complex. She moved to that place before I got home, because you were at your mom's house, and it was very stressful because it was just her alone being there. So she wanted to go somewhere until I got home fully, and she was there. And I googled the complex name, and I asked the complex, the head of the complex, to go, go check in on her, because
like a courtesy check,
like just go check in, because I know she wasn't doing well. And I found a member for call from Cuba to Jamaica. I never have no credit to stay on the phone long, so I just step on it real quick, and the phone cut off because the credit done. And the lady actually did went and checked, because when I came home the summer, she told me that, whatever. But I really appreciated
like I wasn't
that.
At home when she came by.
No, check. I think you were there. You just never did answer.
Never answer.
Because you weren't feeling well.
Yeah.
And I just feel like I honestly felt like you didn't have any friends that would that the friends who were supposed to be there, they were not there during that time. And
And I feel like they possibly felt that I pushed them away. But you have to
And
understand,
grief does that to you.
you're
Like
right.
it's like you're pushing away the people who want to be close.
Or you
But honest,
isolate.
yeah.
But it's
But
not
it's
that you
like
don't
you have
need
to not take
people.
that personal because you're not isolating because you want to. It's quite literal. The grief have you pulling you away. But as a friend, you kind of like have to show up, if you really mean the person any good. So yeah, so how have you navigated that though? Because I know you went to therapy. That's
Yeah. So it's good to have a therapist on speed dial. um Believe it or not, and as unusual as this may sound, losses in my past helped me to kind of understand on an intellectual level what was happening. It may not say it make it easier or whatever, but it kind of helped. My greatest fear was that would have mad out, Zine. Um, and it's fine if you lose it, guys. Like it's not having a mental breakdown is not a shame,
and it should
right?
be.
It was just one of my fears, but I feel like past experiences of loss helped me to kind of know the course of action. So I know I had a therapist. I know that I needed to call her. I know I needed the tools. Cause you have to set up yourself with a set of tools, in how to be able to just get by and how to show up, and somebody like a professional to be able to tell you like, no, you do need a break. You do need to reach out for help and things like that. So I did have a therapist who I could call and talk to on that level about things. Yeah, and like I just like my philosophy has been to try to keep going, like the nerd in me says like a body at rest will remain at rest.
True.
So you have to kind of keep going, take those breaks when you need to, but try to always pull yourself out, try to reach out to people.
Yeah. And guys, the stages of grief, they don't you don't have to go in order. They don't have to go in order. Say another acceptance, the bargaining, the denial, the yada yada. They don't have to go in order. Grief is such it's non-linear.
A cyclical roller coaster. All over and round and round. So one instance you can be upset. It's okay to be angry, even at the people who you've lost. Because I've experienced that too. Like you vex them left you and all of that.
You vex with all God. We have to pray for the spiritual connection to not be mad.
Right. But so you go through the depression, you go through there's acceptance at sometimes, there's guilt at sometimes.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of push through and keep going. And there is support. You have to just
lean on them.
Yeah, and reach out.
Yeah.
But yeah, babe.
So for me, I mean, my experience. So my experience, I feel like my experience, when I lost my grandma, because I feel like that's the first time I've ever experienced loss. I don't feel like anybody for me close, never yet did, nobody. The first time I've come close to death like that, I think it might have been your mommy. Like, I feel like when I was younger, somebody passed for me, but okay. Now that I'm an adult, I feel like the first time I've experienced it, like up close and personal, was with your mom. Like, I still remember the day to this day, and I always say to myself, if I can remember it so clearly, how do you remember it? And I try not to talk about it because I'm like, if I feel this way, you must feel 10 times worse, So I just try to be there as best as I know how and try to figure out what you want. This is me talking about your, I was there with you. But then when I lost grandma now, guys, if you know me, I lost grandma in what, 2023? Yeah, in 2023, because I came home fully in 2022. Now, if you know me from your baby, my grandmother and my grandmother, all right? My grandmother is my world. She's my all. She's my everything. And I used to always tell people, like, if grandma should ever dead, remember say me are going on a grave they took and we are dead together. Like, I love that woman with everything in me. Like, I don't know, she's, I don't know about on the internet, but she's my everything, and it was just so hard, and it's quite literally still hard to this day. But um, I just know that grief is something that happens because you've loved, and we kind of have to go through it in our life because it's a part of life, right? So even the version of yourself that you lose, you can grieve. You can grieve a friendship, everything clearly that you've loved. You are gonna grieve at some point in time. So yeah, I am clearly still not over it or accept it. Uh, Sometimes I feel so mad because I'm like, I graduated in 2022. Why she could have waited some more, because I had big plans. Like, I wanted us to do things together. I wanted to kind of like repay her for all that she did, but that never happened. And I'm just one thing though I'm really grateful for is that she saw me finish Cuba because she really, sent me there. She pushed me there. Like, I remember when I applied to Cuba for the scholarship the very first time, I did get through, and she was like, "Well, yeah, go find one other school and go." Like, she was always pushing me to do my best, and stuff. And then the second time around, she was like, "You gotta apply again for the scholarship," and I did. And I never did want to do it. I actually apply like I think a day before the deadline. And she's like, "You better go up there," and yada yada yada. And when I got the call that I got accepted, she was so excited. She used every single her last every time I would come home. Everything I wanted to go back, I was okay. That woman, she sacrificed so much for me, and I'm so eternally grateful to her because I feel like if I never she, I don't know, I just probably wouldn't get a degree this day. But I just continue work and at a call center, whatever. I just get a job anywhere and just keep it pushing. But she really was yes, she kept me, and I wanted that. Like, I needed that. So I'm just grateful that she saw that I completed. I never quit. She saw that I did. I did it. And so for that, I'm just grateful, and that helped me to feel a little better that even though I could not repay her, even though she never would have want no repayment, even though I couldn't do that, I'm grateful that she touched the degree, she see it, cause it's so bad because life is so funny, and every time I thank God, like I'm like, God, this must be you, because couple months after grandma actually saw my degree, she lost sight. She couldn't see. She was having difficulty seeing, but then she couldn't see completely. And I'm like, God really saved her sight for me. Like, she did have to see me again. She did have to see my degree. And so for that, I'm just grateful. I feel like throughout this whole thing, this whole lot, I feel like I've drawn closer to God because even though sometimes I feel like at Him, like you want to say, oh God, take this person away from you. I am grateful that she never suffered too long. I'm grateful to God that we got to see each other again because I would have been devastated if that happened when I was in Cuba. Like, for example, my grandfather passed when I was in Cuba. I could have come to the funeral. That's my father's father. I could have come to the funeral. I had to watch it on my phone, and that was a sad feeling for me. But I never grew up with him, but there was still love. So to be very honest, I don't feel it as bad as how I feel it for grandma because grandma was like my mother, my father, everything in one. She was just that girl, yeah, that girl. So yeah, I did grief therapy because people to this day it's hard. Me I tell them the honest truth. It's like I always say to Debbie is like grief is like carrying something very like heavy, and it's not like the weight get lighter. It's like you have one handbag and it's heavy, and every day I carry because it pack up a 10 book with lead in it, and the bag is so heavy because the lead is in it. But every day you carry it, so it's like the weight of the bag not change. It's just that you become so stronger. You're not feeling the weight of the bag anymore, but it's still there heavy. and you just kind of grow around it. And if it's this little, if it's this big, you just get stronger and you just grow around it, but it's still there.
It's still
And I
there,
don't
yeah.
think it, you asked me the other day if it goes away, and I don't think it go away.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
think grief is there forever and ever, amen. And until you die, you give somebody else that grief.
that grief. I feel like a coworker of mine asked me that her father had passed, and she had known that mommy had passed and that I had those losses, and like I really appreciate her, acknowledging that. But she said to me, she asked me when her father passed, is this how it is? Does it ever get any better?
It does.
And I told her it does. I told her it gets better.
But it don't
I
go
never,
away.
yeah, no, I never told her that it just changes. I never told her that like it comes in waves.
It does.
And you have to let the waves come and let the waves go. I tell her that I never told her that you don't forget, and that.
And I think that was just you protecting her.
Yeah, I think I was
but
protecting
she's gonna
her
figure it out herself.
Right, in that moment. You carry it. You carry it for
everywhere
the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you expand, and life expands around it.
And you want them to feel honored, by living. Yes. So you try to live. There is this one thing I was battling with, is like this guilt of being happy. Like I remember I said to you that there were sometimes when I feel guilty, like there are moments when I feel like, oh, I can't smile again. But then I feel guilty, like, how dare you smile? You just lose your grandmother. Why you smile? What's there to smile about? That guilt of not enjoying life or not feeling yourself again. But you have to kind of give yourself permission to feel like human again, because that's the only way you're going to feel better. And I always to myself, they would want you to feel better. They would want you to live your life. They wouldn't want you to cry every day. They wouldn't want you to, but you can embrace paralyzed. The feeling. Yeah, like don't stay stuck. Just keep it pushing. And yeah. And one thing I have to remind myself is that not because I am happy now, it doesn't mean that I have forgotten. I have not forgotten. It is still there with me. So every birthday, every death anniversary, everything that comes up that reminds you of them is like you carry it with you. And I don't know, yeah. So yeah, I think that's what it is for me. It does messes with your mental health too. So that is something that you always have to take into consideration. You can get depressed, you can start suffer from anxiety. All these little things that you have to think about. So it's good to feed your soul with whatever it is that help you. So if a spiritual connection with whatever you believe in help, do that. Get counseling, get therapy, talk to a friend if you have a friend in somebody. Sometimes I don't like to burden people with my burdens of grief, because as I say, who feels it knows it. I wish this pain on nobody. Losing a parent or a grandparent. Terrible. Nobody. And if you've never experienced it before in life, you would never be able to relate to somebody else's pain. And I'm talking about this from experience. Because while I understood what Debbie was going through, it's not until I experienced it for myself that I felt the depth of the pain that somebody could feel. It's like a gut wrenching pain. It's like somebody have them hand in your belly and
it's a physical thing.
Exactly. So until you can experience anything like that, you will probably see somebody grieving about, for example, a parent or grandparent for 5-10 years, and you're like, oh, them not get over that yet. It's because you have never been through it, so you cannot. And that's another thing too. Like grief doesn't have a timeline. You can't tell somebody, say, at 10 years now, get over this shit. Like, no, it don't work like that. It don't work like that.
You kind of, it comes back to being gentle with people. I think I'm leading up to asking the question of, is there anything good that you can pull from loss and grief? But wait there. I just wanted to say that, go back to the being kind to people. Because all manner of things can trigger your grief. All manner of things, Shan was talking about like birthdays, Mother's Day,
Yeah.
you know, the day that they passed away, all of these things, you know, can be very heavy for somebody. I know that one of my things is I remember before I had those losses, I had such a dynamic and you know, a supportive family,
Mm-hmm.
a strong family. Almost, I was almost in a sense defined, part of me defined by, you know, my tribe and my family, these
Mm-hmm.
competent, qualified, assertive, compassionate women, you know. And then when I lost them, it's almost like I felt like I lost a sense of self too.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, you know, I had to rediscover myself. I had to reassure myself,
Mm-hmm.
remember everything that they taught me, and chart a course for myself. I know that one of the things that kind of is triggering these days, and I never knew that it would ever be, right? When people talk about their family, and when they ask me about my family, or people talk about their mom and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
it's, you know, it brings a lot of emotion for me. Sometimes I don't know how to answer, because you don't want to tell this whole story of how I lost my
Yeah, it's
whole
like going
family
through
and
it
how I lost my whole
again.
life. But things like that are difficult. You know, you'll find comfort in people with similar experiences
Yeah.
too. Um, and then also try to make a life. Try to expand that life around the grief. So I'm really grateful for Shan
I'm grateful for
and
you
her
too.
family adopting me.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been so blessed in life to have had two whole, thus far, two whole chances. I was so blessed with my family, and then now I'm blessed with another family,
Mm-hmm.
and that comfort. So yeah, I just wanted to say that, and then go back now to the question of, do you think there's anything positive that comes out of loss, or that has come out of your loss or your grief experience?
Well, I feel like anything, well, maybe finding myself and know that life to me is short,
Mm-hmm.
and in a split second it can just no longer be. So it makes me appreciate life so much more. It makes me I have so much boundaries in life now. Like I'm not putting up with anybody's stupidness, anybody's foolishness. If I realize that you're not with me, or if I see the slightest red flag, people might wear glasses but me not blind. I am not tolerating it because life is so precious and it is so short. I don't think I have to sit through anything in this life unless it's my job because I need the money. Um, I am not tolerating it, and even that, I am going to find out another way. Like, I don't feel like people should sit in bullshit relationship, bullshit friendship, none of that to make yourself feel better because life is so short. Like, yeah, I feel like that is it for me. Like, just, just, just being, just
Mm-hmm.
appreciating life itself, and
Mm-hmm.
just realizing that everything is not as serious as it is, and just take everything as them come. Like,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I don't really have nothing else. you
Okay,
know
okay,
that's all I
okay,
feel. What
that's
about
valid.
you?
Um, Positives. Um, I feel like I am a calmer version of myself.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I've become like so much in me. I see that I have taken from my mother,
Mm.
you know, and I used to always pre mommy and say, she don't get vexed over that. And he's like, she
She
don't,
was very
you know,
calm.
and you know, I'm getting worked up over stuff, and why she don't cuss
Mm-hmm.
them out, and why she don't, you know,
Mm-hmm.
this calmness that she had, and me thinking, why she always see the positives in things and all them things. I feel like I've taken on a lot of that. I'm so much more calm. I'm so much more, and it's taken a while to get to that place within the grief. I think more about people and what they might be
Yeah,
going through,
same.
It's made me so much more compassionate. And then on the other hand too, it has made me just live,
Yeah.
just live. The opinions of people and
Mhm.
things like that matter so little now, in terms of a negative judgmental way. We value people's
Yeah.
opinion and we take constructive criticism and things like that.
But your negative opinions don't matter.
Right,
Yeah, none of
right,
that.
right. So in terms of that, like it's made me, you know, yeah, kind of more focused in
Mhm.
life too.
But I feel like we really wanted to talk about this topic too because
Mhm.
I feel like it's good to talk out loud, and I feel like
Mhm.
sometimes when you speak out and we're sharing our experience with somebody, because maybe somebody on here is going through grief and they can
Mhm.
appreciate us talking about it, because this
Mhm.
has been something that I feel like some people like would walk away from, because we have been through it.
Mhm.
Like, we were angry
Mhm.
at each other. We've been through all stages of grief. We still
Mhm.
not well,
Mhm.
I still don't accept it. I feel like Debbie's at a place now, I'd say, where she understands it more, but
Mhm.
still not over it. But she
Mhm.
understands it a little bit more. And
Mhm.
so we get to learn from each other.
Yeah.
And yeah, and if it's one thing I appreciate, we never give up on each other through these difficult
Yeah.
times.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
some people may have given up, especially seeing that
Mhm.
even for Debbie, like, this whole thing started 1 month into us being in a relationship. This is a very hard
Mhm.
thing for us. Like,
Mhm.
remember, so we don't know each other to the full extent yet, people. So
Mhm.
it was very hard
Mhm.
to navigate.
Mhm.
We had to exercise a lot of patience with each other. It
Mhm.
wasn't easy, but if you know that you really want to be with somebody, or you check for them, if you're in a relationship now and the person is going through that, you can just be there for them, however best you can, and ask them what they want, what they would want. If they just want you to sit there, I remember one time the therapist told me, and I'm going to share this with you guys. She
Mhm.
was like, because I was telling her I never know what to do for Debbie. Like, I don't
Mhm.
know if she not receiving anything. Because I feel like Debbie had said something to me like, she can't care for me now. You said something. You said
I
that to
did.
me. Yes. I remember you said it. You were
Mhm. Mhm.
like, you can't, it's basically you were saying you can't care for me now. You can't take my feelings into consideration now because
Mhm.
of all the feelings that you are going through right now.
Oh.
And I felt some type of way about it, like, oh, okay. So I spoke to
Mhm.
the therapist about it, and she was telling me,
Mhm.
I never forget, she was telling me, try not to take it personal,
Mhm.
because it's not about me right now. It's about you and how you're feeling. Not saying that
Mhm.
I should ignore how I am feeling, but she's just
Mhm.
trying to help me to navigate what Debbie is feeling and what
Mhm.
she's going through. After
Mhm.
I spoke to Debbie's therapist, because I mean, I never had a therapist for myself at that time, so I just used her, and she told me that, and then I started to understand, like, okay, just ask her what she wants. She told me to ask her. She said to me, if she wants to talk about her mother 100 times, just listen. Just listen. Um, just be a listening ear. Just try to understand and whatever.
Mhm.
If you tell her how you feel too, because this
Mhm.
thing can burn you out because you're human.
Mhm.
So you have to
Mhm.
communicate. That is very important. You really
Mhm.
do have to communicate when you're going through grief. It gets easier.
Yeah, as
It
as
gets
as much as it
easier.
sounds like it's still there, it does. It
Some days
does.
are easier than some. Some
Mhm.
days are very hard. A song, you might hear a song and that triggers something. For me,
Mhm.
Grandma was singing CC Winans song to this day. I love CC Winans, and
Mhm.
every time I hear that song, some days I'll cry. Some days I sing it so loud and
Yeah.
joyful,
And sometimes you
and sometimes
smile.
I smile, sometimes I get sad. So it just depends, and whatever comes, just embrace it. You know,
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
embrace it, and just know that don't live in the dark at all time. Try to find the light in life,
Mhm.
because
Reach out, reach
reach
out,
out.
always
Yeah,
reach out.
always.
Even if it's to a stranger, even if it's to, you know what I mean? Even if you send we a message online, you
Yeah,
can
you can
reach
even
out,
reach out to
you
us,
know?
send us a message online if you feel the need to. Maybe we don't have the right tools and the right words, but we can point you to the direction of somebody who
Mm-hmm.
may, or, we can give you a little 2 cents of
Mm-hmm.
what we feel, and but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
comment down below and let us know. I have some healing affirmations that I want
Mm-hmm.
to leave with you guys
Okay,
before
okay,
we
make I
end.
hear, make I
This was
hear.
a very deep episode, guys, and I feel like we have so much more we could say, but I feel
Mm-hmm.
like what we've said wrapped up everything.
Or
Yeah,
most of
or
it.
most of
Yeah.
it. We can't go
Mm-hmm.
in depth because if we do, people are not gonna there for the one night.
Hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the first healing affirmation is, I allow myself to feel deeply and heal gently. Okay, guys?
Mm-hmm.
You get that?
Mm-hmm. I allow myself to feel deeply and
And
heal gently.
gently.
Okay.
Number two, my
Mm-hmm.
grief is a reflection of how deep I loved or I
Yes,
love.
I like that one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have it all figured out to grieve myself grief. I don't have it all figured out to give myself grace. You understand?
Go again?
I don't have it all figured out to give myself grace. So you're going to give yourself grace, but you don't have it all figured out on how you're going to give yourself grace. You're just going to go with the flow and give yourself grace when you can.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. There is no timeline for healing, as we've said before. You take your time, don't
Mm-hmm.
make nobody rush you.
Yeah, I
You
used to feel
heal.
like it's a deliverable and
Yeah.
come on, come on, come on.
But
I need
I
to be
did
over
tell
this,
you
but
that one time to say
yeah.
healing, is just take your own time, it's your pace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, the next one is, I am learning to carry my loss and my light at the same time.
Yeah,
That's a good
I like
one,
that one.
That's a
I
good
like that
one. You
one.
like that
Yeah.
one? Yeah, you have to carry your light while you carry the loss. It's like it goes hand in hand, people.
Mm-hmm. No, but
Yeah,
I drop the light.
yeah,
Carry
just
it.
carry it in your darkness. The
Carry
dark
it.
just hold
Yeah.
up the light and you just
Mm-hmm.
keep it moving, all
Mm-hmm.
right? So the next one is, moving forward doesn't mean forgetting.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think I've mentioned that. So not because you're trying to move forward, it don't mean that you've forgotten the person that you're grieving or the thing that you're grieving. It just means that you're trying to get up and move forward. All
Mm-hmm.
right. So yeah, just take those little
I
affirmations.
have one.
What's yours?
It's a little bit of advice.
Okay, good.
I think that remember say your ball in the grief
Mhm.
and the hard times.
Mhm.
Remember your ball and your feel and you
Mhm.
felt. So when you have a win, even a little, what maybe somebody might consider a little win, celebrate. As
Yes.
much as you've cried, celebrate,
Be
laugh,
extra. Be
be
bold.
extra, be joyful.
Do
You
whatever
know,
the hell you want to do.
mark that time and
Yeah.
mark that win
Mhm.
because you've cried enough, you know, to be
And everybody
to
grieve
be happy
differently.
and to be smiling and laughing
Yeah.
when something good actually happens. So
Mhm.
no matter how small, and that's my
Yeah. Allow people
takeaway.
to grieve how they know how to. Like, allow people to grieve. If somebody wants to do something while they're grieving, just allow them to. If they want to get
Mm-hmm.
something to fill a void, just allow them to, just
Yeah.
allow people to be. And
Mm-hmm.
grief looks different for everyone. So, yeah. But that's it, guys.
Yeah.
I feel like we don't really have anything much else to say in
Yeah.
this very
I got a
moment.
lot off my chest.
Yes, thank you so much for listening. I'm open to
Mm-hmm.
listen to the
Mm-hmm.
end.
And I hope this
uh,
does something
yes, I
for
hope it does.
somebody, you
Yes,
know.
I really do hope it does.
Yeah.
If you want a therapist recommendation, you can reach out to us. We'll send you who we use if you
Mm-hmm.
want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, guys, I don't know if you believe in God, you can pray. That helps
Mm-hmm.
me. Write down your little stuff in your journal. Journal, right? Listen to music, whatever you do to make yourself feel. But take a walk. You
Mm-hmm.
know, just do it. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but that's it for this episode. Really do hope that you guys enjoy. Really hope that this resonated with somebody and
Mm-hmm.
could help somebody feel better. Comment down below. Let us know. Yeah, thank you for listening and thank you for joining us on the Cozy Couch Conversations with
With
Shanz
Shanz and
and
Debz. Mm-hmm.
Debz. Thank you guys. Love you. Bye.